I think it's safe to say at this point that Season 5 has been a mixed bag. However, maybe some hope is on the horizon. We've had some really interesting teases about what's coming in the future and when we might hear about it. So I have this picture here that somebody put in Discord. I haven't actually verified all of these, but I've definitely seen some of them in my own time playing, like the UI bug, the healing bug I've heard about, Shockwave is bugged, the bolt exploit, which we're going to talk about, and I've probably seen more than what's on here, but you know, whatever, right? The real deep cynic in me wants to talk about how they slowed down for quality, but actually, I think that might be a bit harsh. This is a huge patch which changes a lot of the fundamentals, if not adding a lot of content. I suspect some of this is going to get fixed sooner rather than later. I just want to talk about one thing that we all knew was coming, the PvE arenas that each have an artifact behind them. Yeah, getting into these has been pretty much absolutely annoying. What's happening is everybody's stood at the door trying to desperately press this button when it goes live. Some people are probably like cheating and hacking. When the server first went live, like about half an hour after, this place was absolutely packed and it was pretty damn crazy. It sort of blows my mind that they did that, but you know, whatever. In a day or two it'll settle down. The arenas though pretty easy, not 100% sure why they did that, but yeah, they're pretty packed. Then let's talk about some of the more egregious issues. By the way, I got Tempest Fury, not bragging. I'd probably have had all the artifacts today if the game was working properly, but I just thought I couldn't be bothered trying to find those artifacts, to be honest. But yeah, you can see here, you see the, you know, the perk IDs. Yep, they're all pretty much like that. They're all fudged. They're pretty much all, well, I mean, everything is like that. I was actually having issues getting in the arena, by the way. I was getting like arena ID failed, but I'm like, well, we'll try it with a different group when all the players come down. But the other thing I want to talk about is the movement. Now, I think this was actually like this on the PTR, but I think I thought it was like lag or something, but it's not. But basically, it just looks like you're ice skating. Like if you do this thing with the new freeform movement, it looks like you're ice skating. Like you're like slipping and sliding, and it's like you properly don't get starting. I really don't like it. I hate it, to be honest. It does not feel good at all in the slightest. Like I'm not slipping here, I'm just running normally. And if you turn off the free movement, even that's the same, right? Like the whole movement has been changed and it does not feel good. It doesn't feel right. I don't like it. Combat's maybe a little bit of a mixed bag. There are some abilities that are just straight up broken, or maybe not straight up broken, but that just feel even worse. For example, like if I go with my Warhammer here and I try and use Thunder and Shockwave, there's just something that, like, you see that delay? Yeah, that's busted. I think they'll be able to like sort of quickly fix that. There's a bit of a delay between when you actually hit and then the effect, and you know, that's obviously not working as intended. Most of the combat sort of felt okay. Some animations probably taking a little bit getting used to. Like if I think I was getting stuck in certain animations that maybe I hadn't been getting stuck in before. I'm not going to show footage for my boss rush, I've only done one. And I would say anecdotally, there wasn't that much change to desync. The clumps didn't really feel very good. Overall, with the combat update, I sort of think like, yeah, it's probably not as good. It's probably worse than what we had before. However, for me, it's not really a deal breaker. There's nothing sort of like crazy. I think once they tidy up some of the, you know, some of the abilities, some of the animation locks. There was at one point, by the way, I think I actually T-posed because I ran out of animations or something. My character actually just straight up T-posed for a very split second, but it was funny. I think eventually though, the combat will feel pretty similar. And actually that happened on stream. So I'm going to show you a very, you know, a screen recording of it happening. But if you look here, I T-pose in a minute. They do a sweep, I don't quite get swept, I T-pose. But, you know, I mean, nothing crazy, just a little bit of a bit of jank, basically. I think eventually they'll sort of, you know, resolve most of these issues. I'm not too stressed. I think overall, they should probably stop talking about slowing down for quality because they're just going to get memed on either way, to be honest. Whilst a lot of these issues are just a bit daft, I think they sort of make sense when you consider what they've actually changed in the combat. If you don't know, by the way, they've gone from scripting to native C++. I don't really understand coding, so I'm not going to talk about it too much, but that change has been huge, and somehow it's affected quite a lot of things. This clip is going around at the minute. Pretty much with the bow and the musket, you can effectively do this thing where you're doing rapid firing. Now the quality is a bit scuffed, but yeah, you can rapid fire. That bug is back. It's actually done slightly differently. I actually don't know how you fully do it, but yeah, that bug is back, and yeah, it's not good. So season 5, I don't want to be oblivious to the fact definitely a mixed bag. Now, there is some very small grains of hope on the horizon. Today we had a video, a dev video, the Ion Eternum with the CM Lydia. And I have to say, I actually think this video was quite good. There were a few major reveals sort of in here. One of them, by the way, is definitely something to do with like chipmunks or pets. See this little thing here? This is a little chipmunk, I think. They also had one of these in a previous video. Pets, if I'm honest, are probably soft confirmed. It's probably pets, right? I don't know in what capacity. I don't think it's going to be mounts. They might be an enemy type or a little critter that you run over. I don't know. A critter or pets would make sense. They keep mentioning pets, maybe pets. But there were two more things in here. Scott Lane basically confirmed that they're going to announce whatever is coming to New World at Games Fest this year. That's Summer Games Fest, and it's happening, I think, June 7th, round about then. Don't quote me on the exacts. But they basically said, yeah, they didn't say it directly, but yeah, it's definitely coming at Summer Games Fest. That's where they can reach a wider audience. Now, in general, console is again one of those things where it's very likely confirmed. By the way, they are selling a controller. Now, obviously that's not console related. It's because the game just got controller support, but I think it's pretty much definitely coming to console at this point. And during the video, he says we're going to create something that's going to get new players back, but there'll also be stuff for, you know, existing players. That makes perfect sense. Console plus a Brimstone level of patch, etc. Probably with a PvP zone, because, you know, that's also hinted at. And there's a couple of things I actually like from Scott in this video. They talk about how actually players don't necessarily just want a new Outpost Rush map. They probably want a different mode. And I have to say, I think I agree with that. A lot of people are saying, why not both? Which, you know, it's hard to argue with, but the answer, I guess, is simply money or the return on investment. But there's one thing I was a little bit suspicious of. Suspicious is maybe really the right word, but there's one thing where he was talking about we have the players segmented and we try and give content to, you know, this bucket, then this bucket, then this bucket, and then we circle back around. And I sort of felt that that one was maybe an indication of a wider problem with New World. I don't think they should be trying to please every segment. What I think they should probably do is pick the segment that they want to focus on and then deliver the most content there, which I think they actually do already, but I think at this point they should probably commit a little bit heavier too. Interestingly, by the way, they gave a different number of PvEers versus PvPers. They said that PvEers outnumbered PvPers at a 5-to-1 ratio. So all the PvPers wanting content, that's why you ain't getting it, or it's why you're not getting as much as you think you deserve, because there's not as many of you as you think. They did say about listening to feedback from maybe like Reddit and Discord and maybe YouTube, although I don't want to have such hubris to think that they actually watch my videos or anything like that, but it's sort of true that you shouldn't listen to a isolated bit of feedback. The online community of people talking about this game is not as big as the silent majority. That's probably just the way it is. As they say in the video though, that doesn't mean they don't listen to your feedback and my feedback. It just means they need to contextualize it a little bit. I'm not sure why. I had the video in like 420p. But the next hint is I think swimming is pretty much all but confirmed. They do a bit of a sign off, and in the sign off they're talking about saying goodbye, but they're doing swimming puns, and they literally put a swimming pun counter on the screen. Considering they said that there would be Easter eggs, I think you can assume that that is almost certainly one of them. Swimming is probably very likely coming in Season 7, and, you know, if I was a betting man, I would put money on it. I just realized I have no idea what that is. Is that a cactus? In my head, it looks like little fingers or like little people with faces drawn on, but I think it's actually a plant. But what this video was, I actually think it was quite good. Of course, they can't really tell us anything new, but now we know when something's getting announced. It's going to be early June at Summer Games Fest. Swimming probably confirmed, pets hinted at yet again. Yeah, I liked it. What I'm not sure I like at the minute is this bloody slippery movement. I just feel so janky. I don't know if they can fix this. I think this was on the PTR. I don't know. I don't like it. It's not a deal breaker for me, but I don't know. It was better when I had the freeform movement on the live version than what we have now. Obviously, it's very early days. We'll see how I feel once I've done, you know, quite a few more outpost rushes and stuff like that. Still a little bit salty about this whole queuing up system. That's not really a queue. People are just spamming to get in. But, you know, at least I did the 10-man seasonal trial and got my bloody spin to win axe. Can't wait to use that tomorrow. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Big shout out to my Patreons. If you want to support the stream and me and all that kind of jazz, that's actually the best way. You can come and see me play this tomorrow on Twitch. I'll be there live, probably getting all the artifacts. For now, have a most beautiful day. Like and subscribe. Goodbye.